Okay, Teddy, I am going to show you a couple of warm-up ideas for you to get some muscle groups moving correctly. So, part of my warm-up routine is using a medium-sized band. I'll put it around a stable position. I usually use my shoulder press machine in my gym. And spread the band, come out with straight arms, and I'm going to rotate my pinkies down, locking in my elbows, which is good for our bench press, our squat, and our deadlift. Gets that upper back getting some fluid. If I want some more tension, I come out just like a straight bar pull down. My back is straight. I have a neutral spine, and I'm going to lock in, come down as far as I can. Still rotating, pinkies down. Keeping my arms straight, so you see I have no bent elbows the whole time. Which is the same concept that when we're in our deadlift, we're locking in. Locking in. When we're in our bench press, we're locking in. When we're in our squat, we're locking in. So this is a good warm-up to get some fluid movement. If you're trying to be real quick about warming up that upper back, get a medium-sized band, easy to throw into your gym bag. You can take it with you anywhere. Helps get some fluid movement in our wrists, elbows, shoulders, and our upper back. Next, we have the psoas board. So if your hip flexors are really tight, you can get one of these, or you can get a tennis ball or a trigger point ball, a cross ball, a ball, and we're gonna put it right above our hip bones. So my hip bones are right here, and really what you can do is find your belly button and move over in front of your hip bones, and there's the start or insertion part of your hip flexors is right here. So that point usually gets really tight if we're running, biking, or sitting for a long period of time. That'll get really tight and we start to overuse it. It's the first muscle that we engage when we take a step, when we sit down, when we stand up. So pretty much everything that in our big three, we're engaging our hip flexors. So if they're tight and closed in, then we're gonna have this, if we're squatting and we go whoop, that's part of it. If we're bench pressing and we have this knee knocking, or even when we're deadlifting, if we're doing this, part of it is going to be our hip flexors that we need to keep flexible and keep our hips opened up as much as possible, because it's the first muscle to be engaged. It's the most overworked and underappreciated muscle in the whole entire body. So a psoas board is really awesome. It's super easy to use. Again, this or a lacrosse ball, you can just a lacrosse ball is obviously going to be cheaper than this. I think this was like 30 bucks. So I'm going to place it here. And all I'm going to do is just lay on it and breathe. Try and slowly get into a flat position, because this hurts like a mother trucker. Then I'm going to get up into my forearm position, and I'm going to rotate my leg back and forth. Then the other side, back and forth. And then slowly work down to a flat position too. So you can do that a couple times as needed. And you can feel once you get up. For me, this side is a lot tighter than this side, which makes sense because I have a bad habit of standing like this. My hips popped up. I had knee surgery in this, so I have to remember to stand tall. Otherwise, my back's going to start hurting, and then our hips are going to start shifting. So if you have that issue too, where you're standing more dominant to one side versus the other, just open up your stance and put your toes out. Stand up nice and tall. Relieves from your knees and your back, and now my hips are even. Last but not least, If anything, in all three of our lifts, upper back, upper back, upper back. Back work, back work, back work. If you have a strong back, you're gonna do extremely well in heavy lifting, period. Upper back muscle group is a lot smaller than our lower back muscle group, obviously. So we need to make sure that all of our upper back is pretty warmed up. So foam roller is always really good. I do this definitely for my bench day, but I do it for my squat and deadlift as well. So with the foam roller, we're not putting it on our low back. Don't ever foam roll your low back. Never ever. You have nothing there protecting it whatsoever. You could bruise a kidney or so on or so forth. So I'm gonna end last rib and I'm gonna foam roll up. Last rib, foam roll up. And then right underneath my scapula, or your chicken wings back here, that's where I'm gonna set the foam roller. I'm gonna slowly walk out my legs, and I'm trying to press my traps to the floor. Press your shoulders to the floor. Obviously, you can see it's not happening. So I'm gonna make palms facing up, make some snow angels around the foam roller. Then I'm gonna do some presses. You can do some dumbbells with these. Overhead stretch, try and get those palms to the floor. Nice and slow, all the way back over. Palms to the floor. Palms facing up, make our snow angels again. Same thing with the foam roller. You can foam roll your hamstrings, your calves. It's always good to warm up your legs, no matter what lift you're doing. If you have shoulder issues, go ahead and just foam roll out your shoulders. I would prefer a foam roller over a trigger point ball, just so we're not irritating that level or that area where we are already having a point of injury or irritation. So you have the foam roller, you're gonna be flat. I'm just getting some movement and fluid in it. Thumb facing down, all the way into the shoulder, that deltoid, all the way back to pec major, pec minor, all the way into our lat too, because my foam roller is at an angle, it's not completely horizontal. So those are a couple of warm-up tools that we can utilize for squat, bench, and deadlift, or just in your regular training program. Really the main focus is to always make sure that your stabilizer muscles for anything that it is that you're doing for training that day are efficiently warmed up. Once you have a good warm-up routine set in place, you'll see the most optimal results for whatever training program you're doing and working that day. Hope this helps, and we'll talk soon.